On the 21st of Tum Ut, you arrive at the oasis hamlet of Joppa, along the far rim of the Magrai, the Great Salt Desert. All around you, moisture farmers tend to groves of viridian water vine. There are huts wrought from rock salt and brine-stalk. On the horizon, Cud's jungles strangle chrome steeples and rusted archways to the earth. Further and beyond, the famed spindle rises above the fray and pierces the cloud-ridden ribbon sky. This is Caves of Cud. Caves of Cud is a weird game. It is a weird sci-fi game. And we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into it. On the right side, you'll see kind of a running list of what's all happening with me in the game right now. On the screen, with this minimalistic art style, you'll see our character, the hatted man with the scarf there, moving around and exploring the world and stealing all of these items. Off in the distance, there's a zealot yelling. The machine commands that you exercise robots and bring their sacred husks to the stay stilt. You should probably talk to him. Ask him what he speaks of. In the distance, there's a statue in the middle of a pond, speaking of what came before. A shrine to Rashef, the last of the sultans. The shrine depicts a significant event from the life of an ancient sultan, Rashef. In 3 AR, Rashef cleansed the marshlands of the plagues of the Gyre and taught Abram to sow water vine along its fertile tracks. The shrine is perfect. We make a note of it, because this is a game where the lore of the game has importance in the game. The world is actually generated randomly each time you get in, but there are certain landmarks that will always be there, certain aspects of the reality that will always be pre-decided. But everything else in between, all of the jam and butter that makes up this meal, all of the spices, are going to be different. They have a significant track to them, but they'll be different each time. What it was telling us there, and I do know that I skipped through it very quickly, what it was telling us there is that we had actually made a discovery just now. Let me see if I can show you. We can travel now to the historical site of Nar Razor, bygone hearthstone of the Widowmakers, because it spoke of that on that statue. Nar Razor is not always going to be in the same location, and just because we heard about it does not mean we automatically know where it is. We have a few people of note here in town that we'll become very familiar with. We have what is a dromad merchant, who is basically like a camel person who are infamous, one would say, for being merchants across this land. They can travel the land, and their caravan guards are something to be worried about, but only if you cross them. This is Yimashur. He is one of the traders here in town, and this interface is going to seem like a lot at first, and it will kind of seem like a lot to be able to decipher all of this at first. Ooh, there's some weird artifacts in here. These are important to us. But as I play, and I hopefully explain some things, and yes, you can pet the cat. Sisyphus is a nice cat. Whenever I pet him, he meows, and I start to glow. But as we play, and as I explain things, hopefully the body of this will become apparent, and you'll start to see some of the craziness that you can do in this game. It is a game not like many others. Things that I would compare it to would be like Dwarf Fortress or Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. It is a classical roguelike, and it is normally permadeath. However, since we're doing a YouTube channel, instead of playing on permadeath, we are playing on something called roleplay mode, where each time we leave a village, our next death will take us back to the last village we left. So it kind of creates a sort of automatic save point, a la classic games where you saved at your last checkpoint, and whenever you die, instead of having any progress get saved, you get set back to your last checkpoint. Not perfect for YouTube, but it is better than permadeath. And if we do end up having a very large loss of time of around an hour or more, I will probably catch up off screen. But let's get started. This is Joppa. This is the starting town. It's not the only starting town. You can actually get a randomized one if you so wish. But I always like starting in Joppa because there's a few familiar faces here, and there's a few quests here that kind of lead you on your journey at the beginning. For one, there's the Mehmet here, who will speak to me about various things. But one of the first things I want to do is ask him, "Your thirst is mine, my water is yours." This is a ritual that is common and universally accepted in Caves of Qud, called the water ritual. This is how you make friends. Water is incredibly valuable. This entire world is post a series of apocalyptic events, but one of which is very important and is seated in the culture of this entire game. And that is a apocalyptic event that turned most of the world into salt. It dried out and dehumidified the entire world. Water, fresh water, that is desalinated, is rare and a precious commodity. We share our water with Mehmet, which is actually some of our money. If you look at the top of the screen here, you can actually see the 64 monies here. That is actually the money that we have, the water we will drink. And we begin the water ritual. We get reputation with the villagers of Joppa, which is his main faction that he's associated with. And because there's various people who dislike and despise Mehmet, our reputation with other villages actually decreases. We have a few options here, but for now, we can't really take any of them, so we tell him to live and drink water, brother. And then we do ask, we're in search of work. He tells us about a place to the north called Red Rock, and that there was some strange critters he saw, pale white, 8 legs, and ear-splitting whines. He would like me to bring back one of these critters, and I will do as he asks. What's eating the water vine? This is the start point for most people in this game. And it is a good place to start because it'll take you to one of the easiest places to start in this game. But I say that, and trust me, I have died there before. We're going to talk to a few more people in town, and then we're going to check our inventory, see what we've started with after we looted Joppa's initial starting chests. And we're going to get a handle on things. So this right here is Warden Ulriag. Your thirst is mine. We got a little bit of reputation with the wardens, but we don't know much more, so we're not going to say too much more about him right now. I don't believe he has anything. Yeah, he doesn't have anything to trade. And then there's the Elder here, and we can tell him to do the water ritual with him as well. And that actually brings our reputation with Joppa up high enough that he can teach me a skill that I was looking for, called Harvestry. This means that as we're going through the world and we find plants, we're going to be able to naturally and automatically harvest them. This isn't the most important skill in the world, but it does save me points on buying it later, and it's pretty useful. He also has an oven here, and we can eat from it. They won't get mad at me. This is actually the village's special recipe that he could actually have taught me, the apple mats, but I also can eat here, and it'll always give me the same effect. There is randomized meals in this game, but whenever you eat from a village's oven, it will always give you the same one. That's not the strongest one in the game, for sure, but it's a good starting point. I'm trying to find this cultist. Is that the cultist down there? Yes, the cultist, the zealot of the Sitstay Stilt. North and west through the Great Salt Desert, the Great Stilt splits the earth in two. What waits for me there? I'm not going to talk to him at length. The NPCs in this game can be sometimes quite verbose, and I don't want this to be fully about reading. I want to kind of get into the adventure very quickly. So I'm just going to accept the quest and move on. There is one more guy that we'd like to talk to before we leave town here, and it's this guy over here who is the Tinkerer Argive. He mentions something about dino elasticity and synthetic linseed solvent, and the fact that he ignores us. He eventually tells us about wanting to bring back a knick-knack from one of the caves, and if we accept his quest, then he asks us to bring back a artifact. And if you notice, it instantaneously completed, because I actually picked up a handful of weird artifacts, and I'm going to try and examine them. So I identified that one as a stun grenade, and that one is a gas grenade, and that is a salve injector. Ooh, salve injector is... Just think about a salve injector as that is a healing potion. However, as a quirk of who we started as, we're actually allergic to tonics. So if we do take that healing potion, there's a very, very, very good chance, about 33% chance, that we're going to have an adverse reaction. We'll still get a little bit of healing, but we won't get the full regeneration and everything that tonic would normally provide. While we're on this page, we're going to very quickly go over what kind of mutant we are, because we are in fact a mutant. Most people in this world are mutants of some variety. You'll see plant people, you'll see plants that are people, you'll see all sorts of strange combinations of things, because everything in this world has mutated, and there's very few pure humans left, and the ones that are pure human tend to be cybernetically enhanced and not the nicest people, I found. But our personal mutations is that we have a heightened level of quickness. Basically, we move faster than people around us. We do regenerate, which is very important. This will come in handy later. And then we have two fancy abilities, Space-Time Vortex, which I am not going to explain until I use it for the first time, and Teleportation, which is exactly what it sounds like. Our idea here that we're going to be going for is that we are essentially going to be a quick-time gunslinger. Who can move at an incredible rate, have a rifle, potentially maybe like an offhand pistol at times, and we will be able to shoot down targets before they get to us. And all things all going badly, we will teleport our way out and potentially run, regroup, etc. We might get into some technology and maybe setting up some turrets, but it's very unlikely that we're going to go too heavily down the melee run. I've done a lot of melee runs of this game before, so I'm kind of avoiding it. We're going to go ahead and give this knick-knack to Argive, and since we identified them, we can actually choose. If we hadn't been able to identify them, which is partially based off our skill and partially off luck, we would just be guessing, but we're going to give him this acid grenade. We get a little bit of experience. There is leveling in this game. Leveling is very important. And then he tells me to fetch another one. Well, just so happens I have another one. That is actually not common. I just got very lucky. We're going to give him the stun grenade. We finish his quest. We level up, get a mutation point, some skill points and attribute points. We'll talk about those later. And then he tells us that we're quite impressive, Trader, and that he is looking for another apprentice because he just unfortunately lost his recently, what with disembowelment and everything. And we do offer to become his new apprentice, and he tells us to go after copper wire. And if we get that copper wire, he's going to give us something very important. One last thing that I'd like to do before leaving town is, you hear the message going across the screen is actually the priest in the distance screaming at the top of his lungs, various zealotry, and that is the animated way of showing it. There is actually a secret right here, which is there's a stone crack in the ground. And we can go down into this stone crack, and this is one of the first of many caves of Qud. But we're actually going to leave for now. So this is the local map of Joppa, but if we at any point head out, this is the overworld. Here we are in the bottom left in Joppa. Up north is the Great Desert and the stilt that they spoke of. And off in the far distance, you can see the Spindle, a tower of light that is visible from all parts of the entirety of the jungles of Qud. A spindle that shoots into space and is filled with mystery. This is going to be one of our later major destinations. There are other multiple places on here that are notable. There's some sort of strange building here in the desert. There's a crystal forest that I've actually never been to. This is relatively new. There's the lowland jungles and then the highland jungles. There's a town marked here, which is fantastic. This town's normally not actually marked. You don't actually just have to find it. And I kind of love that it's marked now because it's always in the same location. There's also a strange building here. Some here, some here. But as you can see, everything else is unmarked. Each one of these actually represents a tile, and each one of these tiles represents a 3x3 of the same size of map we just came from, and they can be drastically different than each other. However, to the north of us is Red Rock, and to the east are these rust pits. We want to head to the rust pits first, even though we have a quest for both of them, because going to the Red Rock is nice and all, but the rust pits gets us something that I want first, and we're going to head there. So we cross the map, We actually spent enough time on the map that we were hungry and quenched, so we are going to... I didn't bind my abilities. We have mate camp on 9. So we're going to go ahead and make a camp here, whip a quick meal, we rummage around our surroundings, find ingredients, and toss them in pot and stir, and we eat. So now we are sated, which I was finding at the top of the screen here. Oh, I totally forgot to check my gear before we started moving. Okay, so... let's see... we have... I am very glad I checked. We have basically nothing equipped right now. So the furs here are actually armor. They're going to go onto our main body. We have moccasins, which we can... I don't know if this gives us benefit. They don't really give us benefit, but we'll go ahead and equip because there's no reason to be barefooted. We don't need a torch because one of our abilities is that we can see in the dark. And unfortunately, we actually don't have a rifle at the beginning of the game here, so we're going to be wanting to find a rifle right away. But we did find an iron battle axe, so we're going to equip that because it's much better than the staff that we had. We can keep the staff in our offhand, though, and we want to make sure that this right here is our primary hand, which is indicated by that little asterisk right there. So this is basically saying that we're right-handed, and then our left hand has the staff in it. Scroll down the list a little bit more here. We got some copper nuggets, some wine, fresh water. Fresh water is both our water and our money. Wine we can sell if we find a merchant who's interested in it. And there's a book. Evidently there could be pronounced in it. Interesting way of wording that. We do have a couple arrows, so we're going to go ahead and equip the bow. In this game... oh, I think we actually had a bow equipped already. I didn't even notice. In this game, your bow actually goes in a different slot than your melee weapons. It goes into this missile weapon slot, so we're going to be able to have both going at the same time. And we are going to start exploring a little bit. We got some... oh, I had to reload my bow. We got some creeper thingies along the walls there. Take a shot at it with our bow. This man... I was really hoping that he would have something to sell. Actually, I might sell some of my... do you have any money, sir? Oh, he's fighting. Let me help you real quick. You don't have any money. I got so excited about getting out here that I sort of forgot. So we're going to go ahead and, since we don't see any enemies right now, we're going to go ahead and auto-explore, which tells the computer to kind of just find some stuff nearby. Actually, before all of that, we're going to level real quick. So we have 82 skill points and 1 mutation point. For the foreseeable future, we are going to be focusing on getting regeneration up. If you want to see what it does in specific, you can go ahead and pause the video, but I will go over it later. So let's collapse all these topics and open up the ones that we're interested in. We want where is bow and rifle? So we want rifle very early. We're also going to want acrobatics very early. And I think probably first aid and endurance are pretty close to the beginning as well. And we might take some points in persuasion. And we also want tact that's very early. But we do want that rifle first, because the first level of bow and rifle will give us steady hands, which treats our accuracy higher than it actually is. It basically is an immediate boost to our accuracy. So we need to get that starting level there. If we do take some damage, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but we do want to avoid fighting too many of these creepers on the wall, because if I look at one, this is actually a kudzu. They're basically hostile plants, but they rust things whenever they touch things. So every single time I fight one of these, there's a chance that they end up rusting some of my gear. So it's risky to fight them, especially this early. What I was doing there is I can hold Alt to see if something is in my enemy. Your enemy is actually determined entirely by your reputation, not by something being evil or something being good. You can become friends with pretty much anything. You can become enemies with pretty much anything. So we always have to check to make sure that something that is being aggressive to something else nearby actually hates us before we just go on, you know, a murder hobo killing spree. What's on the ground there? It's a gigantic staff. Weird. We're going to just go through here real quick and clear out what we can. Go ahead and put it on Auto Explorer for a moment. Yeah. The Auto Explorer doesn't like me walking past enemies, so it will stop me whenever it perceives that I might be in danger. Unfortunately, here it perceives every single one of these vines as danger. We leveled up again. I was struggled to get to this level up screen in a timely manner. So, unfortunately, since we are low level, we're only level 3, we cannot actually level up our regeneration again. So we are going to level up teleportation. And we probably should have grabbed heightened quickness, but we'll get that soon. We also got an attribute point. All of our attributes will raise. All of them will raise after we get a certain number of levels. But for now, we actually want to focus all of our attribute points into either intelligence or agility. Agility gives us our accuracy, but intelligence gives us how many skill points we get per level. And at the beginning of the game, our skill points are pretty important. See, it actually gave me extra skill points. I had 168 a moment ago, and it went up to 172. So we're going to go ahead and grab bow and rifle, which trains me in mark target and draw bead. And later we will be grabbing some of these supporting skills for it. But for now, we can add that to mark target is on D6. We'll go ahead. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to make an ability. We want to put that on, let's go to 3. So whenever I press 3 on my keyboard. Unfortunately, we don't actually have a rifle or a bow. I mean, we have a bow, but we don't have any. Ooh, we need that. This is the wire that they wanted us to take. So we've gotten 50 inches of the wire now. Something's firing at me from a range. Let's see if we can sneak up on it. Not sure what it was, but I think that dog might have killed it. Oh. That was a spitting vine. Those can be really dangerous in the beginning of the game, whenever you don't have a lot of armor. Ironically, they become a joke very quickly later in the game. There's a lot of soft animations to this game. I believe that there is an animation pack in beta right now. There's nowhere else to explore. Oh, I see. There's stairs down. I just missed them earlier. So we're going to head to these stairs here and head down. I think we just got a... We did. Got an arrow. So we can carefully approach. Take that guy out. A jilted lover will actually grab nearby creatures and pull them in. Kill these kudzus. Rest up a little bit. The archetype that we started with during character customization actually has this ability called meditation, where I don't spend as much time resting to regain my HP. Leather boots. I actually will go ahead and equip those, because those are better than what I'm wearing right now. Wow, we are so weak at this point that we're actually... Ooh, that bat doesn't like us. I wonder if we hit it by accident. It made a strangely human noise whenever it died. Yeah, see, bats normally don't care about us, so we might have hit the bat by accident with a stray arrow. We probably missed once, found, you know, where. Go ahead and clear all these out. Just kind of getting... We're not farming per se, but we do want to clear this place out, and we do want to get as much experience as possible. We want to... try and make sure that we take full advantage of this earlier area, because I just did a bad thing. So what I just did there is that central area is actually a view into the lower area, because this is a giant crater that I'm in. And I, in my haste, jumped off the cliff. So now I'm on the bottom level. And that is a crab there. It is marked by me, and it is hostile, and it is tough. So that means that... and... Okay, I do have arrows. We'll try and make a couple shots. And we are out of ammo. We don't know where the exit for this floor is. What is that? There's another arrow here. Reload our bow. Oh, thank goodness. So that was a snapjaw. I killed it quickly, almost by reflex. But snapjaws are like these... We're going to go ahead and go up. Mark our target again. Take a few steps back, see if we can get away from it. See, look how hard he hit us. Okay, we're going to go ahead and teleport. If you saw there was a giant area that it was showing there, it's because we're so inexperienced at this point that we're actually very inaccurate with our teleports. We're going to see if we can get back to where we were just a moment ago. Oh, there he is again. Do I have any ammo? I do. Once he's farther away like that, we're going to mark our target. And that's Caves of Qud. If I was playing on permadeath right now, that would be the end of my character. They would be retired, and I would have to start over again. But I was fighting a crab. A crab. And it slaughtered me. If you want to, you can look at the on the right side. There's this nice little turn markers of what all happened. Basically, just trying to like Dwarf Fortress. It's a description of what happened through the thing. I managed to get one really nice blow off on it, critically slicing it for 21 damage, and then it's shredded me. And unfortunately, it hit me so hard at one point that it dazed me and then stunned me. And because of the fact that I was stunned, it took turn after turn after turn, shredding into me with my claws, which, because I was the one stunned, passed like a moment before I simply died. Fortunately, we're playing on roleplay mode, so we will reload from our checkpoints, and that'll take us back to when we left Joppa. We're going to be a little bit smarter this time. We're going to re-enter Joppa, and we are going to head over here to Dromad Merchant. I'll trade with him. Actually, before I do that, I am going to go ahead and put all this stuff back on that I took off. So I want that on. I want this on. And I want... What? Did I accidentally unequip? Yeah, I did. And I need a bow as well. Okay. Don't need a torch, because again, we can see in the dark. I actually probably could have used a salve injector, but I thought I had more HP to spend before things got really rough. And I just did notice that that staff really isn't doing much for us, so we're going to equip a dagger in the slot where the staff was, and again, make the right hand our primary hand, just because it's easier to remember. And then we're going to sell the rest of this stuff to this Dromad Merchant. So we're going to take all of this, take the book, the moccasins. We'll keep the food, but we don't need the torches. Witchwood bark is useful. We can kind of chew on it to get rid of some status effects. The extra thing there. All of this will come in handy later. This scrap is used to craft various things. And now we have 58 drams. So what we can do is we can come over here, and we can add all of his arrows and all of his lead slugs. And hopefully he has a gun. He does. He actually has a really nice gun, but we can't afford it. So we're just going to buy the Masterwork musket for now. So between our 61 base money, which is this right here, the 58 that we're going to get, he's going to be asking for 60 at the end. So we're going to go ahead and offer up. So we're going to have to pony up 2 drams of water from our actual personal inventory, and we'll end up with 49, and everything else will end up even. One thing to note is that these copper nuggets here, is actually, these weigh very little. So these weigh 1 pound here. Meanwhile, a water skin full of water weighs, let me actually show you. A water skin that's completely full is 32 and weighs 9 pounds. So these copper ingots, which weigh 1 apiece, are worth 10 money. Meanwhile, this 32 money is worth 9 pounds. And just like Skyrim, we have to worry about our total weight. So having copper ingots is actually a way to sort of like store your money. So we're going to buy a couple copper ingots and then also a shield, because we want a shield instead of the dagger. I actually wanted a shield from the get-go. I'll go ahead and remove that and equip a shield, and then remove that and equip a musket, and then press R to reload the musket. I don't think I have anything to equip anywhere else right now. Unfortunately, no. So we do have a backup short bow still, and we have 30 slugs. That should do us a little bit better. The name is going to save again as we leave town. We discovered a lair. Would we like to investigate? Let's not, but it will put it on the map for us. Ah. See, I expected this to happen the first time. We were exploring the overworld, and we don't really know where we're going, so we got lost, which tosses us into one of the maps. Our goal here is going to be to try and find our way out. We just got stuck in a pool of asphalt. It was taking me a little bit to get unstuck there. What is that? Tar-encrusted bones. Lovely. Go ahead and... Actually, I should check those bones real quick. Nope. Okay. Sometimes the bones have something in them, if we check. So we're going to be trying to just find our way around. We need to either transition between maps, or we need to look for someone to talk to. More bones. That's not ominous. Some sort of pony creatures. Equimaxes. Hairbrush skin, shrunk around his strapping withers, flanks, and thighs. A rich platinum coat. Long muzzle. They're sort of like relatively sentient horses, from what I can tell. Oh, what is this? A salt hopper. Basically a giant, super aggressive, let's say rabbit. We missed with our initial shot there. See if we can just fire in melee range. Nope. So we are going to want to sprint away. Which means that we're going to try and be taking our turns way faster. And then we got far enough away that he can't see us anymore, break line of sight, and we were able to rest and meditate because he lost track of us. Oh, we got one really nice hit off on there, but wow, he is only injured. Let's go ahead and teleport because this thing is kind of far and above what we can handle right now. Oh, geez. We take one shot, reload, 2 shots, reload, and just as he's on top of us, we get the final shot off and kill him. We're going to go ahead and camp, whip up a meal, get sated. We don't want to be walking around hungry, especially in such dangerous territory. Looks like there's not much here, so I'm going to see if we can find another way in up there. Still not much here. I think something just shot... Yeah, something shot at me. Oh, it's just this guy. Okay. I'm not really worried too much about those guys. We might need to head off to the east here and see if we can find... regain our bearings. Yes. So we can go ahead and head back up to the overworld then. We actually did manage to meander off the course a little bit and head back down into one of these pools. This time, we're going to be a little bit more careful and not randomly fall into a lower level. Make camp before we explore the dungeon. Managed to level again, so we're going to once again focus on regeneration. And this time I am going to grab heightened quickness. Basically what this means is that every few turns I'm going to take an extra turn. And then I still think that the intelligence early is very important, so we're going to go ahead and grab that, and we have enough points to grab bow and rifle again. Do we have enough points to take a level of tactics? We do, but we can't get any of the interesting things. Okay. Let's get back to it. I don't really want to waste too much time killing these little kudzus. Should probably leave my rifle loaded at all times. And not waste rifle shots on these little guys. At the same time, I don't want them to randomly rust my axe, because if I lost my melee weapon, it could be problematic. These spiders will leave me alone, but it's a good idea to just get rid of them, to be honest. I was checking to make sure that we equipped our shield there. I wasn't 100% sure. Move deeper in. And did we ever find an entrance down? We did. So we're going to go ahead and fast move over to it and head down to the next level. Again, our true goal here is not necessarily to get levels or anything like that. It is to try and find enough wire to bring back to Argive. Most of the wire is going to be on the lower levels, but we only need 250 feet of it. We've already found some, I do believe. We did find some. Yeah, we found 50 feet. So we're well on our way. Mark it, see if we can hit it. I found that aiming into corners like that there's some weirdness to the accuracy. Where it's actually much harder to aim at a corner than it is to aim at other things. So this is the cliff here. We want to make sure that we don't fall down again into the lower level, that pool of water below us, because those crabs down there are honestly quite durable. And you saw what happened. They ripped us to shreds. That bat doesn't want anything from us. And as you can tell, this is slightly different than it was last time as well. Each time we re-enter this place, it will be very similar, but it will have regenerated. Oop, there was some... Go ahead and use my mouse move. There was some strands there. Go ahead and pick that up. Oh, it's only 1 foot. It's unfortunate. I'm mostly using my keyboard at all times because it allows me to diagonal move very easily. And it gives you kind of that WASD feel to things. Ah, nice. But I'll sometimes use my mouse whenever I just need to get like a very specific spot. We're going to grab teleportation. As we level up teleportation, its accuracy will increase. And then I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and focus on acrobatics very early. So what this will do is it'll give us 5 points to our defense value whenever someone shoots missile attacks at us. But it leads to something called jump. And jump is quite good. Jump allows us to very quickly move away from targets. Plus, we can't afford some of the other things that we do actually want to eventually pick up, but we don't have the ability to yet. I'm going to go ahead and pick these up again. And actually, we got lucky that we got boots again. I'm going to go ahead and equip them. We'll probably talk about armor value and defense values and all that stuff in later videos. We are so inaccurate with an axe at this point that we just struggled to kill a spider. Now, mind you, it was a fairly large spider. It was about this, probably like the size of a man or something like that. But it was a spider. We almost failed killing a spider with an axe. So it's really no surprise that we were struggling against that crab. We are going to be a very practical survivor, though. Go ahead and explore. Looks like we have most of this stuff cleared. We're going to be a very practical survivor, so that even though we do want to focus on... We only have 4 slugs left. Even though we do want to focus... That is a lot of enemies. That's Snapjaw Scavenger, Spitting Vine, and Archer. We're going to go ahead and head back up the stairs and hope they follow us. So just stand here. Did they not follow? Oh, they had a bigger problem. What is this? Giant leech. See if I can get a few steps away. Aim, fire. Very nice. Clear out the kudzu. Imagine this guy just taking an axe and hacking at these walls and tearing off these hostile mutant plants that turn everything around them to rust. Found a nice canteen. Clear off more of the walls. We do have 1 lead slug left. And then after that... Okay, we can take this guy down with an axe instead of a lead slug. Frowning Moon Mast. We're going to go ahead and equip that because we don't have anything on our face, and it gives our face a little bit of defense values. That was a... What are these things called? An electrofuge. It's basically a shock spider. That's not good. So we're going to go ahead and teleport away because that almost killed us. And this, boys and girls, is why we take teleport early. And that's... Another Rustation, which is a great name for those things. So we took a few steps away. What we're going to do is we are going to equip the bow, reload it, fire, mark, take some steps away, fire again, failed to penetrate again, run up the stairs, fire frantically, literally run at this point. We still have many turns until our teleport comes off. Ooh, we did manage to get a hit, but we only did 4 damage. How's he looking? He is fine. This is not great. This is really not great. We can barely hurt this thing. Almost as a joke, I was considering using my space-time vortex, but that is actually a bad idea. How's he looking? Still fine. We have 3 more turns. Okay. We are going to go ahead and teleport past him, because again, our goal isn't to kill everything. Our goal is to get copper wire and get out. We're going to go ahead and look at this artifact, because there's a chance. It's a defoliant grenade. Shoot a few arrows at that guy. Does he have anything good for us? Nope. I was really hoping for some more arrows or slugs or something. We do have 1 slug for our rifle. Probably should have not wasted so many of them. What was that? Cloth overalls. Is that actually better than what we're wearing? It's kind of funny. I think it legitimately is. Well, it has a higher... So the open circle is dodge, and the closed diamond is armor. So this is actually more armor. In the beginning of the game, I wouldn't say one is necessarily better than the other. Some people might have an opinion there that one is better than the other, but I think it's more important to just focus on one. And we're going to probably focus on dodge because our agility is so high that we're going to be able to get some stuff that makes us pretty good at dodge. There's so many of these vines here. Look at this. It's an infestation. Seems almost futile to be even shooting arrows into this, but we need these arrows. Come on, pick up the arrow. Thank you. And we're very close to leveling. At this point in the game, even these basic enemies are still giving us a lot of experience. Genome enters an excited state. So basically, because I'm a mutant, every once in a while, my genome will freak out, and my physical mutations, but not my mental ones like my teleportation and my space-time vortex, will enter an excited state, and I'll be able to drastically level them. We're looking forward to this. We're going to be grabbing regeneration for this. Means that our regeneration jumps 3 ranks to rank 5. However, our effective rank for regeneration... Excuse me. I pressed a whole bunch of incorrect buttons there because I am still trying to remember how to play this game. I'm going to go ahead and remove this and put my shield back on. But our regeneration is actually still only effectively level 3 because of the fact that our level is so low that it can't actually be level 5. But it does mean that until we get to the point where we're back up to it being level 5 again, we don't have to worry about it so much. So we're going to grab hide and quickness again. We do have some skill points, and we're going to go ahead and take Spry, which gives us +2 to our dodge value. We can now see that our dodge value up here is 8. That's actually a pretty good point for the beginning of the game. clear these guys out. Take out the one that shoots. And I do see some wire over there. And there's also something in the water. You see that? It's a snakeskin armlet. I think we want that. We're going to take that, take the armlet. And we found all the wire we needed. What does this armlet do? Does it just give me... Yeah, it just gives me a little bit of dodge value. Honestly, pretty happy with that. Goes on one of our arm slots and just helps us out. We're going to try and make it out of here with as little trouble as possible. In fact, we're even going to teleport over here because we know that crab is around here somewhere, and we know we probably can't take it. I'm going to go ahead and return to the world map, head back to Joppa, and now that we're at Joppa, it has saved a new checkpoint. Our progress that we just made is permanent. Whip a meal as soon as we get here, and we head right back to Argive. And we tell him, take the wire. Oh, beautiful wire. I forget. Oh, before I forget or cease to care, I repaired an old recoiler for you. Recoilers are amazing. So this is a Joppa recoiler. Do we know what it is? Ironically, we do. But it has a small trinket in it. That's actually a battery. We just don't know what batteries are yet. And I would take it out and look at it, but there's a chance that I break the battery while I'm examining it, so we're not going to worry about it. What a recoiler is it's a small little disc item with a button on top. And we're going to go ahead and activate it once just to show you what it looks like, what it does. But this is one of our safety measures. We can activate that, and boom, it teleports us back to Joppa. So this has been Caves of Qud. I'm probably going to run this series incessantly in the background. If you miss a few episodes, don't worry about it too much. One thing that I'm planning to do, and if you made it to the end of this video, you're going to be kind of in on the secret, is that I'm planning on putting on either the title or the thumbnail the major thing that I'm going to be doing or that I have done in that episode of Caves of Qud, but I'm probably just going to upload one of these a day kind of in the background. I don't expect them to get a lot of views, but I myself want to play this, and I kind of just want this to be a thing that is archived on my channel of, like, if someone wants to play this game but they find it too hard or they find it too obtrusive and they find it too unapproachable, then they have some places to watch it. I know a few other YouTubers who have played it, but I don't know of any YouTuber that I've seen yet who has done a deep dive of the entire game. This also gives me motivation by putting them onto YouTube to actually finally beat the game. I've made it to a certain point in the game several times now, but I never really made it anywhere past that point. So I actually would very much like to honestly just do a full deep dive and see how far we get. We might not go all the way to the end, but I would imagine we get pretty damn close. We'll have some pretty interesting deaths along the way, and we're going to do some pretty interesting things. At some point, I do in fact plan to make a sentient chair and then sit on it. Don't ask why. And I might find a few copies of myself. It's a very strange sci-fi world where some weirdly wacky stuff can go on, but there's also an air of seriousness of what's happening in this world. It really stokes your imagination. I hope you've enjoyed this. My name is Arima, and if you are planning on coming back and watching more, feel free to like, subscribe, all of that general business, and I will be posting more of these. I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks.